When she walks away thinking she can do better, your instinct might tell you to chase, to explain, to fix what went wrong, but that's exactly where most men lose themselves. The moment you start trying to convince someone to see your value, you're already placing them above you. Detachment, that calm strength to let her go without resistance, is where your true power lies. It's not about being cold or heartless. It's about finally understanding that love should never require begging for attention, validation, or presence. When you detach, you take back all the energy you were giving away freely, and that energy begins to rebuild you from the inside out. She expected you to fight for her, to plead, to break first. She wanted to see if her absence would break your confidence. But when you don't fold, when you remain silent and steady, it shakes her. She starts questioning herself because women are not used to men walking away with peace. The world has conditioned men to chase, to prove, to overextend, and when you don't play that game, it disrupts her sense of control. She starts wondering if maybe she misjudged you, if maybe you were the real prize all along. And that's when the power begins to shift quietly in your favor. Detachment doesn't mean pretending not to care. It means you've accepted the reality as it is. It means you've released the need to force outcomes. You understand that whatever is meant for you won't require you to lose your self respect to keep it. This kind of strength creates space for peace, creates a silence so powerful that it makes her reflect. And reflection is what leads to regret. Because when she doesn't hear from you, when you don't chase, her mind fills the silence with memories of your patience, your effort, your stability, the comfort she once had and thought she could replace easily. The beauty of detachment is that it's not just about her, it's about you rediscovering yourself. When you pull back your energy, you start noticing how much power you had all along. You realize that you don't need her validation to feel worthy. You begin to focus on your own purpose, your peace, your goals. That's when the healing starts to feel like transformation. You're no longer driven by fear of losing her. You're driven by the excitement of becoming someone you can respect. So let her go. Let her think she made the better choice. Let her believe you'll always be waiting, because the longer you stay detached, the more she'll realize the silence she created isn't punishing you, it's haunting her. Detachment is not about making her chase. It's about showing yourself that you were never meant to chase in the first place. You were meant to lead, to evolve, to rise above emotional chaos. And when you do, regret will finish what detachment started. When she chose someone else or walked away thinking she'd find something better, she did it from a place of emotion, not logic. In that moment, her decision felt right because it gave her a sense of power, freedom, or excitement that she thought she lost in the relationship. What she didn't realize is that emotions fade and reality always catches up. When the thrill of something new starts to wear off, that's when the comparison begins. She starts to measure what she has now against what she left behind, and that's when regret quietly walks in. You don't need to remind her of your worth. Time will do that for you. The calmness you show, the silence you maintain, and the peace you display all speak louder than any message you could send. When you stop chasing, she starts noticing. When you stop explaining, she starts questioning. Women feel energy deeply, and when yours shifts from desperation to indifference, it unsettles her. Because deep down, she expected you to fall apart. She thought her absence would destroy you. But instead, your silence shows her something she didn't expect: strength. That strength becomes attractive again. It reminds her of why she fell for you in the first place. She begins to replay the moments where you were her calm in the chaos. The man who never lost control, who always had a direction, and who made her feel safe. Those memories begin to hit differently once she's surrounded by uncertainty with someone new. You see, most people don't realize the value of stability until they experience chaos. She might find excitement in the beginning with someone else, but excitement without depth fades quickly. And when it does, she'll crave the emotional security that only a grounded man provides. That's when the silence you held starts to echo. It becomes a mirror reflecting everything she lost and everything she took for granted. You don't need to punish her or prove a point. Life will handle that naturally. This is where patience becomes your greatest ally. The man who reacts loses leverage, but the man who remains centered becomes unforgettable. When she sees that your world didn't crumble without her, she realizes you were never the one dependent on her presence. She was dependent on your energy. You provided the emotional foundation that gave her balance. And when that's gone, she'll feel it in ways she can't explain. She'll start to wonder if she made the right choice, and those thoughts will slowly turn into regret. The trick is to stay composed. Don't let her absence create desperation within you. Let it build discipline. Keep moving forward, working on your purpose, and living your truth. Because when you become a better version of yourself in silence, she'll recognize it. She'll feel it before she ever sees it. And when regret begins to whisper in her ear, she'll realize she didn't replace you, she lost you. There's nothing more powerful than the quiet transformation that happens when you stop trying to prove yourself to someone who walked away. Self improvement isn't about showing her what she lost, it's about rediscovering who you are without her validation. The truth is, when you shift your energy from chasing her to chasing purpose, you begin to awaken something that was asleep inside you. That's when everything changes. You stop thinking about how to win her back, and instead you start focusing on how to win yourself back. That shift alone separates the weak from the strong. While she's distracted trying to fill the void with temporary excitement, you're using that pain as fuel. You hit the gym not out of anger, but out of self respect. You work harder, you think clearer, and you start aligning with your purpose. Every goal you hit, every new boundary you create builds confidence that no relationship could ever give you. That's the kind of power that can't be faked. It's earned through discipline. And when a man walks in his purpose, he becomes magnetic. You won't need to chase anyone because your growth itself becomes attractive. It's funny how the same woman who thought she outgrew you will start to feel small when she sees what you've become. She'll see your confidence rising, your focus sharp, your life moving forward without hesitation. She'll notice that you're not reacting to her silence anymore. You're not checking her stories, not sending those late night texts, not waiting for her attention. And that's when regret starts to hit her hard. She'll realize the man she left behind is not the same man she remembers. He's evolved, elevated, and unreachable. But the beauty of true growth is that you're not doing it for her. You're doing it because you finally understand that the relationship wasn't the lesson you were. The heartbreak forced you to wake up, to face your flaws, to face your habits, and to start becoming the man you were always meant to be. And once you reach that point, you'll realize you don't need her to see it. The reward is internal. You gain peace, purpose, and direction that no external validation can replace. And that's what truly flips the dynamic. Because when she finally sees your glow, she'll be drawn back, not because of nostalgia, but because she feels the energy she once took for granted. She'll wonder if you ever think about her, if you still care, but by then, you'll be too focused on building your empire to notice. Growth has a funny way of shifting attraction. It makes those who once doubted you come running back. But when that moment comes, you'll realize something powerful. She's no longer your motivation, you are. And that's when the real transformation begins, when you stop chasing and start living. Something powerful happens. Her curiosity begins to grow. At first, she tries to ignore it. She tells herself she made the right choice, that she's fine, that you've probably moved on too. But deep down, she wonders. She wonders why you haven't reached out, why you're not trying to get her attention, why your silence feels so different this time. It's not the usual silence of a man waiting for her to miss him. It's the silence of a man who's finally at peace. That kind of energy hits different. It makes her stop and think, because she expected you to fold first. But when she realizes you didn't, the balance begins to shift. It starts small. Maybe she checks your profile out of curiosity. Maybe she asks mutual friends how you've been. Maybe she starts comparing you to the person she's with now and slowly begins to notice the difference. What she used to see as confidence, she now sees as mystery. What she thought was detachment, she now recognizes as strength. It eats at her because you're not playing the same game anymore, or you've outgrown it. You've stopped needing her reaction, and that's when she starts craving yours. She begins to feel something she didn't expect, confusion mixed with attraction. The more you stay silent, the louder your absence becomes in her mind. She starts to remember the way you carried yourself, the way you stayed calm when she tested you, the way you led without forcing control. That's when the emotional tables turn, because the very traits she took for granted start to become the ones she misses most. She realizes that while she was searching for excitement, she walked away from the man who gave her peace. The truth is, curiosity is the first step to regret. It's the seed that grows in the silence. And every day you stay focused on yourself, improving, evolving, living your purpose. That seed grows stronger in her mind. She starts to question her choices. The nights feel longer, the distractions stop working, and her thoughts drift back to you when she least expects them to. That's how the mind works when it's faced with real loss. It doesn't miss the moments at first, it misses the presence. But here's where you need to stay grounded. Don't break the silence just because you sense her curiosity returning. Don't ruin the shift by seeking validation. The power is in the patience, in letting her wonder, because the moment she realizes you've outgrown needing her approval, she'll start seeking yours. And by then, you'll be too focused on your growth, too at peace with yourself to even think about chasing what once left you behind. And that's when she truly begins to regret it. The hardest part of this entire process is resisting the urge to interfere with her regret. You'll feel it, that temptation to reach out when she crosses your mind, the impulse to respond when she posts something that seems directed at you. But understand this clearly, regret only does its job when you don't interrupt it. The silence is not punishment, it's the environment where realization grows. Every time you break that silence too soon, you reset her emotions, you rescue her from feeling the consequences of her choice, and in doing so, you rob yourself of the respect she's supposed to rediscover on her own. When a woman feels regret, her emotions go through waves. At first, she tries to convince herself she's fine, then she gets curious, then she starts to miss the peace your presence brought. But that final stage, regret, only arrives when she realizes you're no longer waiting. The more you stay grounded, the more her emotions turn inward. She begins questioning herself. Did I mess up? Did I misjudge him? Would he even take me back? Those thoughts don't come when you're chasing her. They come when you disappear completely from her emotional radar. So when she reaches out, it's important to stay calm. Don't jump at the first sign of attention. Don't let her sweet words or nostalgic texts fool you. Sometimes her first attempt to reconnect isn't genuine regret, it's comfort seeking. It's her trying to test if she still has access to you, if she still has control over your emotions. If you respond emotionally or eagerly, she'll sense it and pull away again. But if you remain composed, polite, and indifferent, she'll feel something she hasn't felt in a long time, uncertainty. And that uncertainty is what reignites attraction. You have to remember attraction lives in space. When there's no mystery, there's no chase. When she doesn't know where she stands with you anymore, her curiosity turns into desire, and that desire turns into action. But you can't fake it. You can't pretend to be detached while secretly waiting for her to text again. Detachment is real when you've accepted that whether she comes back or not, you'll be fine. You've built your life so solidly that her regret no longer defines your worth. That's when her emotions start doing the work for you. Let her sit in the silence. Let her feel the discomfort that comes with realizing she underestimated you. Don't answer too quickly. Don't seek closure. Don't try to speed up the process. Regret takes time to ripen, and when it finally does, she won't just miss you. She'll miss the man she can no longer reach. That's the moment her ego breaks, and she begins to understand the weight of losing someone who refused to chase what no longer respected him. By the time she finally realizes what she lost, the man she remembers no longer exists. You've evolved beyond that version of yourself, the one who once questioned his worth, who overthought every message, who waited for her attention to feel validated. That man is gone, replaced by someone grounded, confident, and fully focused on his own purpose. When she finally comes back around, expecting to find you waiting like before, what she'll find instead is distance, not coldness, but calm detachment. You've healed in silence, and that healing has created a strength she can now feel but can't access anymore. When regret finally hits her, it won't come as an emotional burst. It'll creep in slowly through moments when she least expects it. Maybe she'll hear your favorite song, see something that reminds her of you, or run into someone who mentions your name. And in that split second, it all floods back. But this time, it doesn't just bring nostalgia, it brings pain. Because she'll realize that the man who once would have dropped everything for her now walks with a peace she can't disturb. That's when it hits her. She didn't just lose a person, she lost her place in your life. When she finally reaches out, she'll be testing the waters, trying to see if there's still an emotional connection. But you'll respond differently. You'll be kind, calm, collected, yet completely unaffected. You won't try to impress her, you won't over explain, and you won't give her the validation she once took for granted. And that response, that new energy, is what truly makes her regret everything, because for the first time, she'll feel what you once felt: uncertainty. She'll feel the sting of not knowing where she stands, the ache of being ignored, the confusion of facing a version of you who doesn't need her anymore. This is the final stage of the power shift. The silence you maintained, the growth you achieved, and the control you built, all of it leads here. She'll start doing the chasing, trying to prove her worth, trying to reconnect with the energy that once made her feel secure. But you'll see it clearly now. The dynamic has completely changed. You're no longer the man waiting for her to realize your value. You're the man who knows it, lives it, and no longer needs to be chosen to feel complete. And that's when her regret completes its job. She'll beg for a chance, not because she suddenly discovered your worth, but because she finally recognized that she lost something irreplaceable: your peace, your presence, your energy. But by then, you'll understand something even deeper. You were never meant to chase her return. You were meant to become so strong, so grounded, that even if she comes back, you don't lose yourself again. That's when you truly win. When her regret doesn't tempt you, it reminds you how far you've come.